I tried pie. I was like, yeah, I have to try it, but it's not my thing at all. Hi everyone, it's Anna here and this channel about living in New Zealand. In today's video I want to talk about some things which will surprise you in New Zealand. You know, when you arrive to a new country, some things seem to be okay, like you expected it to be like this or you already experienced this. But in New Zealand there are so many things which you probably never have seen in your life and never have experienced. So in today's video I'm going to be talking exactly about this. First thing which will surprise you for sure is the nature and scenery. How amazing it is, how beautiful it is, and how green it is. The level of the green color in New Zealand is just not something I have seen before. It's so green, it's so lushy. When you see its nature, you are like so impressed, literally. Because I have traveled to many countries and of course people like nature, especially in South Asia or in Latin America. I have been to those places, but the nature was different there. Here it's just a mix of firstly like European nature, European plants and trees, but also something tropical like palms and different kind of plants. And also the landscape, of course. And the fact that it's very untouched by people and it's very good preserved, it just amazes me every day. The next thing which will surprise you for sure as well, it's Kiwis, people. People here are super friendly and you will feel it first time you land here. You will experience this friendliness and they are super chatty and open to talk, always ask how are you and etc. joke, and they are very simple to communicate with. So the way of a conversation is simple. They're also very down to earth. Kiwis are very simple people, you know, they just live their life. They don't think much of themselves, like in some countries. Here you can talk to everyone and anyone and you are on the same page. They are all super relaxed. You have to come here and experience it yourself. The people and their friendliness and their simplicity, I would say. Another thing which will strike quite soon when you arrive, it's high prices on everything. New Zealand isn't a cheap place, so you can expect to pay high prices for most items and services that probably you have used to. Some things are particularly expensive, you know, when you go to grocery shop and tomatoes cost 10 bucks per kg. And like zucchini, I know they call it here differently, not zucchini, but zucchini, you know probably what I mean. So I don't know, their price is ranging. Like one time I come and I see the zucchini, it's like 15 bucks. And of course I'm not gonna buy zucchini for 15 bucks per kilogram. But another day I go to supermarket, zucchini is like 7 bucks per kilogram. Then I can buy it. But the price is also ranging, especially on the fresh produce. So that's pretty much expensive. Like this is the most probably expensive I have seen. Prices for fresh produce, but also rents are expensive and gas, petrol is like 250 bucks per liter. You just expect this, you know, when you come to New Zealand, just expect that everything is going to be expensive, so you are not super surprised because that make your experience a bit not that great. Another thing I noticed about New Zealand, something I haven't seen in other countries, are pies and how important here they are, how people love pies. And pies are here different. When you hear pie, you probably think it's something sweet, like apple pie. I know pies like sweet things, but here they eat actually savory pies. I haven't seen like sweet pies, maybe only in supermarket, but if you go to the bakery, there would be savory pies and it's typical like a meat pie, meat and cheese, also steak pie, mince and cheese pies, so where the mince meat and the cheese is like a favorite. I tried pie, I was like, yeah, I have to try it, but it's not my thing at all. I mean, some people probably love it, absolutely, but for some people maybe it's not their thing, so you have to decide for yourself. I usually don't eat meat, so maybe that's why. Pies are very huge here. In every bakery, in every supermarket, everywhere you go you will see pies. Don't expect it's a sweet pie, it's like maybe like a sandwich, you know, here you would take a pie rather than sandwich. In other countries it's more like a sandwich thing. Next, also related to food, you will be surprised how amazing coffee here. Coffee is super tasty. I don't know how they make it. Like flat white is a typical coffee. Like it's just insane. It's so tasty. All the time when I go to places, every coffee, any coffee I take, it's always so tasty. So that's also something about New Zealand. They actually created the brand. It's called All Press Coffee. It's one of the most good tasting coffee. It's brand from New Zealand. It's actually New Zealand brand. So if you see All Press Coffee, just take this. It's the best. But all coffee they brew here, like espresso, it's so good. Like I take flat white, so it's with the milk, but still, it's just so good. Next, you will be surprised, and also you have to be prepared for that, that sun here is different. It's so bright. Like now I'm sitting in front of the window and the sun is somewhere there, but I am feeling already in my eyes the sun. Maybe you see, like, I cannot even like look openly because it's so strong. Like the sunshine here is different in its intensity. You know, when you go out in a sunny day, it strikes your eyes, like you have to like close your eyes slightly because it's so strong. And also sun can be very damaging here, so you need to wear a sunscreen because the sun here goes through the atmosphere. I don't know exactly how to explain, but it will strike your skin as well, so you will damage your skin if you are not wearing the sunscreen. So that's also probably the first thing which you will notice when you come out of the airport on a sunny day and the sun is just like all over the place and you cannot escape it. But it's amazing as well because it's so bright, right? And that's why we have colors. So maybe it's all mixed together. The colors appear here so much brighter and colorful, maybe because of the sun. Another thing which will surprise you is how easy to buy a car here. It's literally like if you go with a car dealer, like I did, you just go to the car dealer and they make it everything for you, right? But if you even buy the car privately, you go, you find a seller, you buy a car, you pay cash or pay transfer, and then you just go to the post office and fill out one form and it's all done. You don't have to like go to the different offices and stay in line and fill out forms and papers. It's so easy and so quick and simple. So buying the car is super easy, but also next thing which will surprise you is driving a car. Driving a car is also very easy here. So the roads are pretty wide, but if you're from US, roads could be maybe a bit tinier here. But for European, in Europe roads are narrower, and in Europe it's very difficult to drive because we have a lot of cars and cities are overpopulated with cars. So here you don't see many cars, and also roads are not very trafficked. So of course there are less people and less cars, and overall only Auckland has a pretty bad traffic, and in all other cities and places in New Zealand there isn't much traffic. So it's very easy to drive car, it's very simple, and everything here is just made for drivers, so you can drive as easy and safe as possible. Another thing which is surprising, that taxes are low here. The majority of people pay between 15 to 25% of income taxes on your salary. Basically, when you earn like 100,000 New Zealand dollars, you will be getting about 75 after tax. So 75, it's like 25% taxes, approximately, I don't know exactly, but it's not much, right? In many countries in this world, we pay so much in taxes. In Europe, it's normal to pay 45% of your salary just in taxes. I mean, in US, you have a different system. Probably the rates are a bit similar to New Zealand, but if you compare it to Europe, it's just like, you don't pay much taxes here, and it's amazing as well. Another amazing fact is that New Zealand is the least corrupt country in the world, so you also don't see corruption here like in many other countries. Another thing which is surprising, that there are so many jobs available. When you look at the job boards like Seek or Trade Me, these are the main job boards in New Zealand, you will see there are so many jobs. Like in different cities, of course, there would be different number of jobs, but overall, there are plenty of job opportunities. In some countries, there might be a struggle to get a job, but not in New Zealand. Another random surprising fact about New Zealand, or thing which will surprise you, is how many dogs are here. You see plenty of dogs, and that people don't use leash. So people walk their dogs unleashed. It's also was pretty much shocking for me when you see just dogs are running close to their owners, we're walking together, and we're not running away, you know. It's very nice, and I think it's a great country for dogs. So I'm also thinking to get a dog soon. Another interesting thing, when you pay with your card, you say you pay by card, right? But in New Zealand, they say Eftpos. You say by card, I want to pay by card. Yeah, Eftpos. It's just so strange. Why Eftpos? Eftpos is a abbreviation of electronic payment or something, but it's just only New Zealand calls paying by card Eftpos. So get used to it. Say Eftpos, not card, but Eftpos. Another moment about paying. So here when you eat out, you don't have to tip, and you also pay at the counter. You don't ask for a waitress, please come give me the bill. So you just pay when you order, or after you have eaten, you pay in the end. So you always pay at the counter. And maybe that's why, because you pay at the counter, you don't supposed to tip, right? Usually when you pay at the counter in other countries, you don't tip. Here sometimes you will see the tip jar in a counter where you can put some cash, but if you pay with a card, I tried once with a card, you can pay and you can say, can I give a tip? And it only works basically for me that time. Maybe not always, but I had to pay for my order, and then we made a different transaction for the tip. So I had to pay twice basically for my order and then for a tip, which is inconvenient for a customer, of course. That's probably why people also don't tip here. So tip is also not expected. That's very surprising, I guess, because in most countries, people who work in hospitality, they would expect a tip. Right? Another surprising and maybe somewhat sad thing about New Zealand, when you come here, don't expect to have a lot of internet for a low price. Internet is very expensive here, and it's also not that fast. When you get a mobile data, the average price for 2 gigabytes, so they're a basic package with a 2 gigabyte, costs $25. So if you want unlimited, you will have to pay $80. It's very expensive, and they actually charge by the megabyte. You can also pick the plan where you are charged by the megabyte. 1 megabyte, it's 30 cents. So I choose now 10 gigabyte. For $50, should be enough for a month, when you use mostly Wi-Fi just for mobile data, but it's still it's so expensive, and it's actually pretty slow. All internet is pretty slow wherever I go, mobile and Wi-Fi. Another surprising thing, or a bit strange, I mean not strange here, but for foreigners, you will see people walking barefoot. So you will just see in the shops, in bakeries, where just walk in without any shoes, socks, nothing. I don't know, I don't know why. Maybe you should answer if you are Kiwi and you're doing this. Yeah, I haven't seen that in other countries, only maybe in India, but that they do it because they don't have shoes. So I don't know. Another surprising and also very nice thing from New Zealand and about New Zealand is that if you are even as a tourist, you come to New Zealand, you have an accident, something happened, you have to go to a hospital, everything will be covered. You don't have to pay actually, because there is an organization which called ACC. It's an accident compensation corporation, I guess, or company. So this organization will cover your bill if something happens. So the most accidents will be covered if you break something, wherever. It doesn't mean that this has to be accident on the road. It's a car or a bike or bicycle. It can be any type of accident. So it's very, very nice because it will cover you even if you don't have health insurance. And the last surprising thing about New Zealand that many foreigners think that New Zealand is super small, right? Because in a map it looks like a small island somewhere close to Australia, but it's not really so small because it's even a bit larger than United Kingdom. And if you compare it to the main European countries, right? Because I lived most of my life in Europe. New Zealand is much larger than many countries in Europe, like Austria, Switzerland, Netherlands. New Zealand is larger. For example, the size of New Zealand is 268 square kilometers. The size of Austria is only 84 square kilometers. The size of Switzerland is 41 square kilometers. I mean, 1000. Okay. Greece is 151. Netherlands is 41,000. Okay, Italy is 300,000. Okay, Italy is almost the same as New Zealand, and you don't say that Italy is so small. So why New Zealand is so small? New Zealand isn't small, and you need a lot of time if you want to travel from the north to the south. It's very large and very long country. So don't think it's small. It's pretty good sized country which offers everything what you need, and it has the diversity of everything, of climate and landscape. So it's like a whole Europe packed in one country, I would say. So these are all things which seem to be surprising for me. I don't know how is it for you. Tell me about your experience, if you found some other things to be more surprising, or what was strange or unusual for you in New Zealand. You can just write it down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos. And I will see you next time in this channel.